they put the newspapers on the table. The staff do, and everyone runs out of the door and they grabs the newspaper. Whoever grabs it first, that's where the paper starts, and then it goes down the line. And so this particular day, I run out and I grab the newspaper, and I'm super juiced because everybody's trying to get the sports page. I said everybody wants the sports page of the paper, so I get the paper. I turn to go back to my cell, and the older gentleman, another prisoner, was like, "Hey man, you play the stock market?" And I was like, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, so you got the business section in your hand." I was like, "Oh crap!" I'm thinking I got the sports page, so I go back to the table like, man, and I'm like, so my bunkie like, what the hell we gonna do with that? So, I toss it on the ground, I go to pick it up, whatever. He like, and I asked him, I say, hey man, what's the stock market? He said, that's a place where white people keep all their money. I said, can you do it from prison? He said, you could do it anywhere.
Curtis, what's up, man?
You doing, man? How you doing, my brother?
Doing well, doing well, doing well. So, look, man. First of all, I want to let you know that there's some funny things that happened to us. First of all, we met in person. For those
Yes.
who don't know, we met in person.
Yes.
And I thought that was my first time meeting you, but I met you in person, and then I don't even know how I came up, but I came out searching YouTube videos, and I saw your San Quentin TED Talk. I was like, I know this guy. I've watched this video before, and that was way before I even met you.
Oh,
so
wow.
Look at that. Look at how the things came together.
Wow.
Things came together. So anyway, I was out there. I was out in LA. For those of you watching, I was out in LA with David Capablanca. Yeah, and I was doing my thing, getting into some strategies, and I met Curtis, although I'd already met him via YouTube a long time before. So yeah, man. So tell us, introduce yourself. Why don't you introduce yourself first? Let me see what you got.
So thanks for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. My name is Wall Street, and I have been released from prison for 3 years now, after spending 27 years in prison from a 50-40 year life prison sentence that I was given as a teenager for my role in a robbery, murder that went bad.
Okay. All right. I wanted to point
that's the who I am and where I am right now.
Yeah. So I want to point something out. You said this story in your TED Talk. I hope you remember it. But you took the business pages of a newspaper in prison, and the guy who you took the paper from asked you a question. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Can you retell the story, please?
So while in the section of the jail, they put the newspapers on the table. The staff do, and everyone runs out of the door and they grabs the newspaper. Whoever grabs it first, that's where the paper starts, and then it goes down the line. And so this particular day, I run out and I grab the newspaper, and I'm super juiced because everybody's trying to get the sports page. I said everybody wants the sports page of the paper, so I get the paper. I turn to go back to my cell, and the older gentleman, another prisoner, was like, "Hey man, you play the stock market?" And I was like, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, so you got the business section in your hand." I was like, "Oh crap!" I'm thinking I got the sports page, so I go back to the table like, man, and I'm like, so my bunkie like, what the hell we gonna do with that? So, I toss it on the ground, I go to pick it up, whatever. He like, and I asked him, I say, hey man, what's the stock market? He said, that's a place where white people keep all their money. I said, can you do it from prison? He said, you could do it anywhere. And I remembered that, 5, 6, 7 years later, when I started teaching myself how to read and write and comprehend, I remembered that conversation with him about the stocks, and that's when I started to try to find out what they were. So I was like, well, if I'm because it was I was like, what am I learn? So I decided to start learning that,
Right.
and that's how I got there.
Yes, I just want to point something out that you said in passing just now. You said that you had to study to become literate. So tell us about being illiterate at this point and what age you were.
I was illiterate. Well, I didn't become literal where I can read and write and spell until I was in my 20s. So I'd been literate the whole time, but um, I had a lot of emotional issues, just like many young teens who had experienced homelessness, who had experienced families who were guardians who were drug addicts, who had experienced violence, and who were black teenagers growing up in Oakland, California, right? So, I got wrapped up and swept up into that whole wave of families and communities that didn't get educated, and due to that non-education, led to crime and led to violence and led to all that stuff. And by the time I started to come to some sort of conclusion to not what I had done, but to my conditions, and so I realized that I was illiterate, and I couldn't believe that, like, I didn't know anything. It was really just a surreal a moment to kind of realize that, like, that I was, then it hit me that, like, I was in jail. So, like, the jail wasn't even really the idea, the issue. The issue was I was considered myself to be dumb, and that was a huge flaw, um, to where I was about to go. They was about to take full advantage of me due to that mentality, and they did, and they did, and they did.
Okay. So how did you teach yourself to read? How?
So um, there used to be these books that I used to get, but they were more like photograph books, and they had like holograms on the front of the books, and the books were Star Wars, because Star Wars was my favorite movie, and I was uh, sitting here looking at one of these books one day. Just got finished smoking some weed, me and my celly, and I'm looking at the book, and I'm like this, and I'm just looking at the holograms, and it's turning, and I open it, and I see in a galaxy far, far away, and I'm like, hmm. And I look down at my celly, and I say, "What that say?" I said, "Does that say in a galaxy far, far away?" And he was like, "Bro, you can read?" I was like, "That's what I was tripping on, bro. Where you get that weed from?" He's like, "Bro, I got it from the same person." And I'm like, man. And it didn't dawn on me that because I'd seen the Star Wars movies so many times, that when I saw it on the pages, the dialogue clicked to the memories of the movie. So what I started to do was tell the book lady who pushed the cart around to bring me all the books that I knew of movies that I saw, to see if the dialogue was the same, and that's how I started teaching myself.
Mm, wow, that's deep. You learned your way through reading books, through movies,
Yeah.
right?
And now
Wow.
I'm a huge movie buff now. So, like, I've TV shows, movies. I know all about the movie business. So it's crazy that it, like, took me, like, down this path to, like, it's weird because I started initially really following movie companies.
Mm,
Um, that's really how I got into the business. I was following a lot of the publicly traded movie companies, the big ones, Warner Brothers, those, which led me into the other stuff, because they were just the stocks that were just moving to. Because Lionsgate, like, I was trying to find all of those who were publicly traded back in at the time.
okay. So let me see if I follow you. You had the conversation with a man about the paper, about that's where white folks hide their money, right?
Mhm.
You had that conversation. And then 5 years later, so after you started reading, you went back in terms of seeking him out or seeking
No,
out.
no, no, no. All I did was just started trying to figure out what the stock market was. That
Okay.
was it. I
And so,
remembered that conversation that he told me, because I was trying to, I've always been about trying to make some money. In Oakland, we about making money there. That's that pimping, drug dealing. That's Oakland. That's the money. We wasn't a part of California where gangs and just the killing for the sake of the killing. Ours was more money making motive around all that other stuff. And so even in prison, that's how we motivated. That you go in, you try to figure out ways to smuggle stuff in. It's all about trying to make money. And so my mentality is always been about how we make money. If we got to make it illegally, I want in. I don't care what we got to do. And so that's how I thought. And I didn't really understand that, like, you could do it right. I didn't know you could make money real, like really, like people really gonna pay you for working no job.
Right.
I never really. I was like, who gonna pay? I'm dumb. Like who gonna pay me? And then my peers like, you dumb. Right. So they saying I'm dumb. I'm saying I'm dumb. Everybody's saying I'm dumb. So I'm not gonna make nothing doing nothing. But what I'm doing, and I got to do more of it because I got siblings. So now you start thinking you need to take care of your family. My mother's a drug addict, so that same drive, I took it straight to prison. Now I'm in one impoverished community and another, still with the same mentality. Only difference is you locked up, and it's a smaller fishbowl of a pie that everybody fighting over. That you are a very small fish because you're a soldier. You're nobody. They'll send you to go harm somebody, stab somebody, rape somebody, whatever, and you're gonna do that or get dealt with, but you're nobody. Right. That's how it go. Until you may become somebody or whatever, but you're nobody. Okay. The system sees you as that. So when I started to be like, well, okay, I'm nobody, but I'm educated. Now I'm a happy nobody. See, right. Ain't nobody, but I'm happy now. So now I'm not just blaming everybody for everything. Because when you get happy, you start to look forward. And when you look forward, what do you see? Things that can benefit you. And the question is, do you recognize them or not? Or do you want them or not? But you see them because you're looking, right? It doesn't matter if you're in jail, doesn't matter if you're on the street, doesn't matter where you're at. Opportunities follow wherever you're at if you're looking for them.
Okay.
So I was looking for that.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about that. Like, I mean, the fact that you're in prison, the fact that you're reading in prison, you're teaching yourself how to read, and then the fact that you're interested in stocks. I mean, all that is incredible. But then, how did you get to doing stocks? Like, how? How did you get to that?
I found out that you have to, in order to trade them, you have to have a broker's account. I was like, oh, okay, this is how you go. So what I do then and what I do now, I just do a lot more of it now, is that when I'm researching or developing something, I do it from the beginning. I don't cut corners. I don't start from the top. So what has benefited me by default is my ability to do that without being taught that. So when I go to do something, I try to figure out what's part of this first. And so when it came to this, I learned the sequence. You got to get a broker's account. But in order to get a broker's account, you got to have $5,000 in the broker's account. Then when you get $5,000 in the broker account, you open it, you got to figure out how to go in and buy and sell in the broker's account. So that was a sequence of things that before trading, that's the stuff that I was seeing. So, but I was learning about that like in the newspapers. It was just, I'll get see a magazine and we reading, and it'll be like, oh, E-Trade Financial. Open up an E-Trade. It'd be the little article in the paper, be E-Trade Financial. Open up an E-Trade account. I'll take a razor, cut it out, take some tape, put it in the back of a booklet and keep it there. I see another article. E-Trade says they got 20% off all trades. I take that article, put it out, and put it somewhere else. And those little clips is how I started teaching myself how that stuff worked. So then I was like, oh, so if you got an account open and you get the money in, they must gotta have a way that you can go in and buy and sell. So let me see if I can find that out. And that's how I was like, ooh. So they said, yeah, when you go on, they got a thing that show you buy, they got order flows. I'm like, what's order flows? So now I gotta figure out what the hell order flows are. So now I'm going to research what order flows are. I find out that the order flows is how they going in and buying. So you want to go in and buy, you can sell, but then they got all these other orders that you could use. So that information is what I fed with what I was feeding to my folks on the yard. I was like, man, look, man, they got these accounts, they got this stuff open. They was like, man, shut up, man. We don't want to hear about that stuff. I'm like, look, we could take the money, we could take the dope money that we making, we could put it in the markets. This is what I'm thinking. We don't got to be doing this. I'm studying this. All the white people doing this. This is what I'm telling them. Like they all doing this. This the best thing smoking. They like, man, we don't want to hear none of that. I'm knowing that the money coming in from the drugs because I'm in on the moves. So I decided to take information they wouldn't listen to me on and take it to the officers who was smuggling the shit in with us. I started telling them about the stock stuff, figuring I could get them to listen.
The police officers.
Yeah. So I started talking to the officers on the under, because you can't be talking to the police around the prisoners, you're gonna be in trouble.
Right.
Start talking to the guards, figuring they ain't gonna shun me because you already doing illegal stuff anyway.
Right.
So this was my thinking, but they shunning me. They like, man, shut up, man. You in here for murder robbery. What you know about some of the stocks? Stick to smuggling drugs. That's how they was treating me.
Wow.
So
that must have been a very difficult place for you to have this information you got inside you and no place to go with it. Right?
No, the folks is like, dude, shut up. Don't be talking about this. Now, my other part of my folks is like, all right, we own, but I had to be transferred to another institution for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? But these other institutions, man, they ain't trying to hear that. They like, dude, we're not trying to hear all this kind of stuff. So I ended up decided that I'm gonna study. I found out that the guards worked for the Department of Corrections, but the Department of Corrections was owned by the state of California.
Okay.
And I found out that the state of California had a pension called CalPERS that all state employees was under.
Okay.
So when I found out that, I started studying that system to find out where California was getting the money to put into that system and where the money in that system was actually invested into. So when I found out that information.
You found out this information how? Like a computer?
No, I was just looking at newspapers. Wow. Took me like years. Every time a paper come, I see some on CalPERS, I write it out an article and put it on the side. Wow. Every time I see a little story, I write an article and put it on the side. It was just through the years. I mean, that's how it wasn't no other way to get it. And I go back through my booklet and I piece the articles together. I'd be like, all right, this one was talking about CalPERS retirement fund. This one was talking about, and it's hard to tell, but and I have them dated. So they'll be dated the times that the articles come out, you know what I mean? And I have them pieced together with the pieces. So I'll go back and do a timeline of my articles, and that's how I will figure out what other questions to ask myself so I would know what to look for. So that's how I was doing the research. I pieced this together and be like, all right, I need to figure this part out. This part of the puzzle not here. So let me go figure out this. This part of the puzzle not here. Let me figure out that. So I'll use the stories.
Your patience must have been on par, right?
And you know, because you're trying to get the data. So, right. But you sneaking because you can't be like, once again, you get caught because I'd have been told don't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because they thing is, you doing that stuff, bro, is affecting what we trying to do here. You all this talking this stock stuff, bro. If people do that, what they gonna be wanting dope here for? So what? Stop. Man, yeah, man, I'm telling you. That's why I say it ain't no joke.
From spreading the information?
What? Keep me, bro. You better not. You better stop teaching that stuff. Hey, wow. They told me don't in the beginning. At the first, that's why I wasn't teaching it. Wow. It was like, don't teach that stuff. That's why I wasn't teaching it. Yeah. It was like, no. And when I ended up getting transferred.
Okay.
To another facility.
All right.
I got there. That facility had guys there who was open to it when they saw me doing it. They was like, man, you ever thought about putting this in a program? I was like, hell no, what's that? So they started lacing me on how prison programs ran. I didn't even know you can have a program in prison.
Wow.
So now they showed me that. Same thing I did what I was doing with the Cowper stuff. I started doing with that, piecing the puzzle together. So I had 20, 30, 40 different puzzles going on through my life all at the same time. And I'm piecing together every time. And every story, every magazine, stuff I see in the trash can, rappers, any material I get, I kept it and I wrote it down. Or I pieced it, or I had a big old bag with a bunch of articles, but they was all in sequence on written on paper and time. Matter of fact, they have a video that they did in the prison about that system that I built, that I was using the research on somewhere on the internet. I forget, but that system is how I learned the CalPERS. I took that data and started feeding that back to guards. I figured you wouldn't think I was so much of a joke if I knew more about your stuff than you did. That's what my thinking was. And one officer, he bit.
One officer bit.
One officer bit.
So what happened with the one officer?
He moved some money from his retirement to the investment account. We didn't make very much money, but he told everybody. He told all the other officers. I was like, dude, you can't be telling everybody. He told all the other officers. Then they started coming over there, 3, 4, 5. First it was just one at a time, 2 at a time. Then they come 3 at a time. Then it got to the point where they be like, they was like, Carroll, you got a visit. I'm like, I ain't got no visiting. Matter of fact, I had never got no visit.
Wow.
I had been, so at this time I had probably been in the pen 5 years maybe or something like that.
Right.
And they called me for a visit. And I'm like, so I'm rushing back to the building like, I ain't got no visiting clothes. So I just throw on some stuff, my and I walking out and they like, I'm like, where the visiting room at? I ain't been out there. They like, go over there. So I'm walking. They like, go through the door. I'm walking. I'm like, get in there. Like, where the people? I'm getting spooked. Like, what is this?
Right.
He walked from behind the thing. The guard, he was like, hey. He was like, hey, what's up? He was like, hey, what's up, street? I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Walked up. And this was the first time I got interaction with a guard, like being really close and like hugging me. He, you know how you stick your hand and do like this? Like, he did that. And I was like, whoa, spooked. I was like, whoa, shit. He's like, man, how you doing? He said, you good? He said, look, bro, I got some people I want you to talk to. I'm like, whoa. I said, bro, where we at? He said, oh, we're on the other side of visiting. Other side of visiting? I said, whoa, bro. Like, is any other prisoners over here? He's like, no. It's this side be closed.
Wow.
I'm like, but how I'm over here though? I thought I had a visit. He said, oh, no. You ain't got no visit. We had the sergeant call down there and say you had one to bring you up here. He in the back, he want to talk to you. Talk to me.
Wow.
Man, took me around the thing, talked to the sergeant, man, and that's how it started. That's how it started.
Wow, that is crazy.
That's how so what they did was they said, all right, tell us how it works. So now I'm like, they thing is I know how it works. Now I don't know how it works. I've been telling them I know how it works. I don't got enough data. Remember I told you the puzzle? The puzzle ain't filled in. So what I do is I say, all right, look. I say, do this. I say, look, go to the website. He like, I said, man, pull it up. So back then, the staff had Blackberries. Blackberries used to be the things. A lot of people don't know. Blackberries, Research in Motion, had big contracts with all the state and government officials to where if you work for the government officials, they gave you a Blackberry because of the encryption software that the Blackberries had, and the Blackberries also allow you to trade on them. They were one of the first kind of phones that also had the trading stuff, E-Trade, some of the stuff built in. Wow. But inside of CCCR, the high upper echelons all was issued Blackberries. The captain, the lieutenants, and the other ones came in. So he had a Blackberry. The sergeant beast bring us in. So he had that. Looked information. So I was like, pull this up, bring this, bring that. So all the stuff I had them bring me was the stuff to fill the puzzle pieces I was missing. Once I got the puzzle pieces in place, I was like, all right, look, Go do this, go do this, go do this, go do this. They brought me back all the printouts of what the actual sites look like. I was like, oh, this. I started building whole worksheets
Wow.
and strategies for trading platforms around that material. I was like, right, look, you can go buy it at this price. Print me this and bring me this. So we did that for some years, and we got caught. I got caught. Yeah, we got caught running investment ring, and prison put me in the hole for almost a year. Transferred me to another institution. When I got to the other institution, all the stuff that I had did there follow me there. But the difference, it followed and that's when I learned everything you do go with you to the next place. So you ain't free or nothing.
Okay.
But the benefit was because I had not snitched on nobody, particularly none of the guards, none of my folks. When I got wrapped in that trouble, their thing was he go keep his mouth closed. So when I got down there, they was like, look, you want to keep on doing this shit where you run around here on the yard, or you want to get in here and you want to try to make a splash and do things in the right way? I said, man, I want to do things in the right way. So they was like, all right, look, they introduced me to the principal of the school. It was the first time that happened. They was like, listen, we want to take your finance program that you're doing. And at that time, I was just teaching purely the stock market. That was it. All I was teaching was, how you just the stocks. That's it. And
okay, time out for 1 second. Time out. So what are you teaching them? What are you teaching them that they're so excited? Like what are you teaching them?
So all I was teaching them was how a company went from the liquor store on the street to Wall Street, and how we would go in and buy that stock. And then I was like, at that time, all I was buying was penny stocks. That's all I knew about.
I'm a penny stock trader myself.
That's all I knew about. So then I was just like, man, it's penny stocks. And so now that I'm a lot more skilled and all I understand now that I was picking good companies, but given the time and conditions of the market, I just so happened it was at the time on the bear market. So because I was already down, while I was always playing the bear market, stocks was already on their way up anyway on the bull market runs, which is how markets actually work. Well, I didn't know that at the time. So when I was having them buy them stocks and them prices was jumping up, they was going from 34 cents to 60 cents. They was going from 45 cents to $1.20. They was like, man. So then when I got down to the other place, my reputation had preceded me when it came to that. I had made no money. Oh, they hadn't paid me no money.
No money. You've been making money for them.
That's it.
They made money off of your.
Yes, I didn't make no dime. They didn't pay me no money.
Okay.
The only thing I got paid was for the actual stock pick. So at that time, they was giving me $100 per pick, like cash.
They started paying you?
Just that was it. Just per pick. That's it. Just $100 per pick. That was it.
Wait a minute. They started paying you $100 per pick.
Cash
money.
Right on the spot.
And what?
Yeah.
What?
That's how this was getting paid. They was just paying me cash money. I charged them $100. I charged them $100.
And what'd you do with the money? Like, how do you
go buy weed and go buy tobacco and straight up?
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I did with it. Like I didn't. All I figured out was how to make it work, because I was the thing about I understand about me now is, which I didn't get then, was that my drive and ability to get things done when that's what I'm on, like I was steered in the right direction instead of with the bull crap when I was a young dude, I'd been a beast. Because my ability to get things done when I'm on it is top tier. And that's why my folks was using me. I was the person who was going out convincing the guards to smuggle the shit. They were sending me to go do that, bro. We need to get these guards, man, to go do this, and we need to get this. I was the mouthpiece, man. The homie in trouble, bro. We need to get him to go talk to this. They send me, man. This we got a bag drug deal. Go. I'm the person that they sending. Now they sending me to go do this stuff instead of me going out like just doing as a soldier. I'm learning and making it my own. I'm like I'm trying to do it to really squash this stuff. Like I'm not doing it for the sake of the deal. I'm doing it for the sake of the two cats. Now, by doing that, my relationships with these dudes started to perceive me where they was like, well, man, street cool. Like, why we doing business with these cats and he keeping all the business stuff cool? So when I start talking about the stock stuff, people will start being like, hey, man, come here. Man, that stuff really work? I'll be like, man, for sure. Man, look, man, man, bro, right now I'm getting like 2 zips in, bro, every week.
So how much is a zip?
A zip might, so he might spend.
A zip is what?
On the streets, he might spend. He'll get a zip of weed in, and it's an ounce of weed. It's an ounce of weed. So he'll be getting 2-3 ounces of weed in, sell it, and probably paying on the street, $200. In the pen, probably making $1,000.
Okay.
Example scale. So he like, I'm making this play, and I'm gonna probably get caught at some point. And like, you saying this stock stuff is cool, bro. Like, I'm seeing you own it. Like, you think it worked for me? And that's how it started. Cash like wondering if it could work for him. Like, but on the under, don't say nothing to the folks because people was like, man, that stock, he a weirdo doing that stock stuff. But the kingpins, the shot callers, they under the table dealing with me on it. Right. They under the table slide me 5,000 over here, putting 6,000, putting 20,000 up. I'm over there picking the stocks. Yeah, they got their families in the street. Hey man, look, I got my mom's got the account set up. What you want me to tell her to buy? Man, I got my uncle. My uncle got the account set up. So they had runners on the streets. See, I was young coming in the pen, but the people I'm dealing with, they got homes and cars and bank accounts. They got operations. Like they've been running in and out the pen all. You know what I'm saying? They adults. They not kids. So I'm the one that don't understand how things work. They do, and remember I told you earlier, they took full advantage of it.
Yeah,
they took full advantage of it.
Okay,
and because I didn't understand, so I just went along with the flow while I built up. The classes came because the warden heard about me teaching the guys on the yard about the stocks. It was just my folks. I be sitting we be in the grass smoking weed, blowing it in our coats so the guards don't see us like that. Right. I be teaching them stocks. We be talking about the bet. So it got back to him that I was doing that.
Right.
So they summoned me up to the up there, and he was like, "Man, I want you to do a class," and I was like, "Man, I ain't doing no damn class." He was like, "Man, you doing a class," and basically was like, "You doing it," and put me. And this was the first time I had ever heard the word curriculum. I had ever heard lesson plans. I had never even heard that stuff.
Right.
And he put me with a teacher, and I was like, how am I even supposed to do any of this? I don't even know what first. He said, "Look, tell me the first thing you do." He was my teacher, so this is how I developed this. I mean, this is how I discovered to name what I had. He the one told me about it. He said when you on something, you start from the beginning. He said in your mind, click like this. I watch you. He said, I can't get you to do shit in class. Nothing. He said, all you care about is stocks. You don't care about nothing else.
Right.
Nothing else. He said, so what's the first thing you do if I wanted to get a stock going?
Okay, wait a minute. I need to grab a pen. Because you about to tell me what your first thing was, right? Your first thing?
I told him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was this when I started telling about how to start off the process and start from the beginning with the IPO. And I started telling him that. He took the information and started plugging into, and he is plugging it into.
Hold on. What's for the first point? What's the first thing you do?
I told him, I said the first thing people need to know was how a company go from a liquor store to Wall Street, and that process is called an IPO, initial public offering. This is what I tell him.
IPO, yes.
So he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Right.
What else we do? What I didn't know, what he was building a PowerPoint with me telling him all the first things you do before you start. He turned it into a PowerPoint presentation.
Wow.
Yes. Had all the clickers and brought me in the room. Was like, look, this is, and he said, what you want to call this? And I was like, man, you built that? He said, yeah. He said, what you want to call it? I said, I want to call it the basic stock market. He named it. He took me to the warden, took us in there and said, this is what we built. This was a year later.
Wow.
A year later. The warden then took that, was like, here, put me in a class, and was like, start a class and start teaching this to the guys in the yard. That's how I started. That's how the class started.
Wow.
I had never taught nothing. They put me in the classroom, and I remember it was a full, I didn't even think nobody was on show. I didn't even think nobody was on show.
Right, nobody was on show.
Man, everybody was in there. I was
everybody was in there.
Everybody was in there. Everybody was in there.
Wow.
And I remember I walked in front of the room and I'm like, and you know, it's all of us in here. So, you know, like Cass is like, you know, they in there kind of like, come on, man, you know, do your thing, you know, kind of crack joking. And I remember big folks got up. And this is when I learned like it's prestigious. Like even though like yeah, it's rough and tough, but it's still honor and dignity and respect. He got up, he said, hey, when you come in here, you in class. Class. This ain't the yard. This ain't your cell. This ain't your hangout spot. This is class. So you're going to conduct yourself as this class, or you're going to get your A out of here. We said, now, we ain't going to be repeating ourselves. We ain't going to be going back and forth about this. This been built for us to make a play for us. If you don't want it, get your butt out of here.
Wow.
That's what he said.
Okay.
And from that day forward, that was how it was. It was class. And I came in, doing my thing, we were all over the place, and they came every single class. Wow. It was full every class.
Wow.
And while I was teaching that class, I was running the ring with the guards, and I got caught. And then I got transferred to the other place.
Okay. Now, wait a minute. So this is the third place you were?
I ain't even at San Quentin yet.
Okay.
I'm like two prisons. I'm 3 prisons from Quentin. I ain't got to Quentin yet.
Okay. All right. I gotta pause because
a lot of people don't know about all this other stuff. This is all. A lot of people just know about the Quentin stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Quentin is where I got the notoriety for everything. But everything was built at all these other institutions.
Places,
so,
right.
So inside the prison system, I was known and am known in the prison system for doing finance before the media even got wind of me. Wow. I was a huge deal in the prison system already because I had been getting in trouble for doing it. So my name was already spread. I was so huge that in the academy, where the prison guards was going through the academy, they was talking about me through the academy. Like, yeah, man, you know, they got this cat in there, man, be helping people with their retirement funds and whoop. You might, that they was talking about that stuff. Right. So by the time I got to San Quentin, Quentin had the media apparatus, the professional, they had all the makings to take it to the media, which is what they did when I got there and basically managed my career.
Okay. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So let me fast track a little bit and get to what it is you're teaching folks. Like, what are you teaching the world out here? Like, past prison, out of prison now, you're free. Like, what is it that you're teaching us, and how do we take advantage of it? So, sidebar, let me just tell you about me. So I had a stroke. I mentioned that. And when I met you, I was still on the edge of the stroke. Right? I was still like, right? And so what has happened is my usual ways of making money have evaporated. Right? And so what I'm doing is stock market. I'm trying to do something on the stock market. But I need to know something about how to make it work. So, right. So explain to me what it is you're teaching the world at large out there. So hit me.
So I currently designed a hybrid version of my field curriculum, which is FEEL acronym, but the philosophy stands for Financial Empowerment, Emotional Literacy.
Oh, that's the thing you got quoted at San Quentin, right?
Yes, 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 yes. And so I co-founded that in San Quentin, that philosophy. And that philosophy is around emotional intelligence and money management. And
Okay.
so basically, we are teaching people how to separate their emotional connection to money by identifying the triggers that come up for them when the spending is starting to erode itself connected to the emotions. And we use a series of lesson plans. We use a series of games. We use a series of seminars to help people come to these findings about themselves for life management. We don't teach people skills. We don't teach them how to go develop some sort of skill to do something. We teach people life management and how to have the appropriate habits to move forward. And currently, our curriculum is being taught. It just actually started being taught last week in Oakland Tech. Is our first hybrid where we built and designed a curriculum exclusively for the Oakland Tech money management class for them to take the class for the program for a month long.
I saw that on your live on Instagram.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so we got a lot of great feedback. Honestly, I was kind of surprised that they responded that well to the course. They responded well than I thought they would, and I don't know why I thought that, but I guess I just the expectation because and you're dealing with youth, and they were really honest about it, brutally honest, by the way. But the feedback was really useful. And so we now started to expand that very quickly. We have a curriculum designed for incarcerated people, which is the first curriculum that has been built because I was teaching that first. The students' version of the curriculum came after that. We have a version for the community, and then we have a version um, um, for for athletes, professional athletes, college athletes, student athletes. And so those are our version of field curriculums that we have currently that we are teaching. They're not available to buy individual curriculums. They're to be taught as a unit and as a whole through a program. I didn't want to have them because my thinking was the individual curriculum is fine, but individuals' curriculums exist today and nothing's changed. Financial education is people are still hugely, largely financially illiterate with all of this stuff here. There was a huge crave of financial curriculums that were online at one point. These people still ain't learned nothing. So I figure now that the programming where you can direct the information towards the participants to get their input on the creativity of the program, I think is a better model to take. So that's the model that we've been running right now. What we've been doing with those versions. As far as and the last curriculum that we have is our stock market curriculum, which is a standalone curriculum where we teach how the stock market works. Like I was telling you before, but this curriculum is like 10 modules and it shows you how to understand the market, how to research the market, how to pick companies. It also shows you the two companies that I created, or rather I named myself that I use, and penny stocks was one of them. I created a different valuation for penny stocks. I don't use them anymore. I coined them something else. So that is also in our curriculum as well.
Okay. So the first lesson, it sounds like, don't be afraid. That's the first lesson, right? Don't be afraid.
Self.
So,
Yeah. The first lesson is self. The first lesson is who are you?
who am I?
Because when the markets start to go where they're gonna go, you're gonna have to know who you is. Because the minute you get emotional and you get to panicking and you get to, oh man, things going right because Trump doing some more weirdo business, this is when you gotta know who you is, because if you don't, there go your money, right? And so they don't understand that. They think they meaning most people who teach it or people who are trying to learn don't understand that the importance of self understanding, which is crucial to investment, right? You cannot go out and invest money without understanding how you show up in the world. Now, people think that they can, and you can go out and invest, but the odds in creating long-term stability and the wealth that you want to have with your mind being all over the place is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to be slim to none because you're going to have to sit back and think how to maneuver your assets as you move through life. And I tell people, what you need now is not what you're going to need later. You might be spending $80,000 now. It might cost you. You might spend $75,000 another year. You might be spending $120,000 another year. So, what you think? If your retirement is currently only $200,000, $300,000, you ain't got enough money to last you 3 years. So, I try to tell people that the true reality of this stuff is self. See, billionaires and millionaires, particularly billionaires, flow how? Self. How we know this? Because how Elon Musk can jump in the White House and they can be cozy with Trump and then they break off. You see him over in the planet, yo, they do it self. Screw you, I'm gone doing this. Yeah, my ego got bruised. I'm over here building cars. I'm over here taking countries. We get caught up in the, man, screw you. I ain't working with you no more, man. I ain't talking to you no more. I ain't doing that no more. I'm selling all my stuff.
Right.
You can't be that way. You still have to have the sense of business. And so the self piece that we teach, first and foremost, allows people to discover that before we get to trading.
Okay. Before you get to trading.
Before we get there.
Before you get to trading.
Before we get to trading, because you're going to be like, man, I've been doing this nonsense. I'm a piece of crap. I ain't recognize I've been this. For sure. That's the realization you come to when you come to understand yourself and your error of your ways. Okay. And that's how you trade. That's how I've been able to trade successfully and not steal my clients' money, not take people's money. Why? Because self say, I don't have to do that. Okay. But if you don't know yourself is, and somebody seen some money, you be like, man, they ain't gonna know I done took this. But they ain't gonna, why? Because you ain't dealt with that. You haven't fought that. Not that bad. The lady from the Black Lives Matter is probably on the way to jail because they didn't squander all that money. You don't know that the federal government finna come looking for you. It's y'all all over the news. Black Lives Matter is huge.
Right.
Of course they looking at your accounts.
Right.
So if you in the news, you can't steal nothing. You in the news, you gotta wait till you. I'm not in the news to steal it.
Right.
So it's simple stuff like that. She's so emotional that she would take millions of dollars in the open because you can't hide it. They're going to hide it, but you know that, but you take it anyway. And that's the stuff I'll be talking about self.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's what we teach for, but we teach the finance part too.
So the first thing is self, right? And the second thing is stocks, right? Mm-hmm. Now, are you teaching
personal finance?
Say again?
Personal finance.
Personal finance.
But we don't teach, we teach field, but it's a quarter of personal finance, then stocks.
Wait, one more time.
So it's like personal finance, but instead of personal finance, we teach field. We teach financial empowerment, emotional literacy. So the first thing is we teach emotions, we teach what's equivalent to personal finance, then we teach stocks.
Okay. Okay. And so the stocks, are you teaching trading? Are you teaching buying for a long haul? Like, what are you teaching?
We're teaching people how to understand what they're looking at. That's it. Because here's the thing. If you turn your TV on and you look and see, oh, Microsoft is falling, but you know what kind of company they are, you know what kind of profits they making, you know that means you know what you're looking at. You look up and see, oh, the Dow Jones falling. You know the Dow Jones, that's the Dow 30. You know, ooh, Dow falling, that means other stocks in there might be undervalued. So we're showing people, because like I keep telling them, I didn't invent nothing new. Stock's been around forever. I'm not teaching anybody anything new. What I'm teaching you is how to identify what you see. And because you don't identify what you see, you can't maneuver your investments around. You can't go in and buy that stock and sell that stock and move the money around because you don't know what you're looking at. You think you're looking at rising stock prices instead of falling opportunities.
Okay.
Right. So it's when you recognize that, oh, Bitcoin been falling for the last 3 months.
Right.
And in the last week and a half, it's been rising. It's been a pocket of increase there. So
right.
when people know that, they say, well, why would I hold on to this crypto and sit when it's these peaks and valleys that are evident where I can pull money off the table? It didn't make sense to sit there because you see it. It just fell down almost 100,000. It just rolled back up almost 25,000. That's a huge peak. But everybody's like, oh, it's just the season movements. It's just what it's doing right now. Seasonal movements? No, it's the outflows of people that's selling the coin. Right there. You can see the outflows of them selling the coin, selling it off. So I turn around, go buy the Bitcoin miners, not the coin, because the coin is falling, pushing down the stock prices of the miners. So because the miners is falling with the coins, the miners aren't falling because their revenues are being hit. They're falling because the coin is dropping based on geopolitical events, which makes the miners undervalued. So we buy those. We don't buy the coin because the coin is falling for events that's supposed to have it falling. It's not attached to any sort of monetary value. It's a coin.
Okay. So let's talk about Bitcoin for a second. So let's just say, well, I assume you're primarily working with people who have income, right?
No. Well, I mean, not everybody got income, but I like to work with people who got income.
Yeah, because I don't have any income. So let's talk. Let's talk. So suppose I get like a couple of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Now put it over on Bitcoin, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to wait until it rises up a little bit and then sell everything that I just put into Bitcoin.
Yeah. So right. But you wouldn't do that with Bitcoin. So the one thing people don't want to do is you do not want to, and it's against conventional wisdom, as they would say, as far as the markets go, but I don't care. You do not want to you got $5,000 and go buy stocks that are $15, $20 a share. You don't want to have $1,000 and go buy stocks that are $4, $5 a share. And the reason you don't want to do that is because you cannot get yourself enough shares in order to see any return if the price rises. See, the key to investing is to buy low, sell high, or sell high, buy low if you're short trading. That's how you invest. So if the key is to buy low, sell high, and you buy Bitcoin and it costs, and you got $5,000 or $1,000 and you buy a stock for $5, you're only going to get 100 shares. So now 200 shares. Every time the stock price rises 10 cents, you only make $2. So the question becomes do I really want to risk $1,000 for $2? Do I really want to risk? And so people haven't done enough. So they think, well, I'm going to go get 10 shares. So you say, well, do you really want to take $1,000 and go only get 10 shares? But if you buy stock under $1, you can get 1,000 shares for the same $900. This $1,000 that you got 3 shares of, you could take it and get 1,000 shares of this one. It's the same share count. Or you could go get the same amount of shares here, spending $10,000. So watch. If this stock is $10, this stock is $1. $10, $1. You buy 1,000 shares of the $10 stock, it's going to cost you 10 grand. You buy 1,000 shares of the $1 stock, it's going to cost you $1,000. Follow me?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, if the $10 stock jump 10 cents, you finna make $100. If the $1,000 stock jump 10 cents, you finna make $100. So I spent $10,000 on this one to make $100. I spent $1,000 on this one to make the same $100. The $100 doesn't change. So what I try to show people is that it's the share count. The money is irrelevant. Money doesn't matter in stocks. It doesn't. That's why billionaires and millionaires don't want money. They don't want money in compensation. They want stocks.
Right.
They don't never want money because
They never want money.
they don't never want money.
They not want money.
They always want stocks. Always more and more shares. We are the only people, Black people, minorities, and retail investors who go off and buy stocks and buy them by the blocks of hundreds and tens. We the only ones do that. 10 shares, 50 shares, 100 shares, 30 shares. You don't see, and then they say, oh, you got to diversify because you can't put all your eggs in one basket. That's another load of crap. And I'm going to tell you real quickly why it is.
Okay.
In fact, it was true that putting all your money in stocks was the biggest risk of all, then why would? You know who Elon Musk is, right?
Elon Musk, yes.
Elon Musk owned about 15% of Tesla. You know who Jeff Bezos is, right?
Yep.
Jeff Bezos owned about 13% of Amazon. Yep. You know who Warren Buffett is, right?
Yep, definitely know who he is.
About 13% of Berkshire Hathaway. You know who Bill Gates is, right?
Yep. Definitely
Bill Gates owns about maybe like 1% of Microsoft. Now, those percentages that Bill, Warren, Jeff, Eli, and all them own, every one of those stakes is locked into those companies. The entire 15% that Eli own in Tesla, probably about 800 million shares, is all in Tesla stock. So why would his whole $200 billion be in one place? Why would Warren Buffett's whole $100 billion be in one place? Why would Jeff Bezos' whole $200 billion be in Amazon? If all your money in one stock was as risky as they say, then why would they have all their money sitting in one place and been sitting there for decades?
Right.
Decades. It's false. Diversifying your money is a fool's errand. And the richest people in the world have all their money concentrated in one place. The Walmart's got all their money in Walmart stock. All their money. So this is what I tell people. They got all their money in Walmart stock. They ain't got Walmart and Costco and all that. They all Walmart. And they've been Walmart for 50 years worth $300 billion. So when we go off and buy shares, right? If we concentrate, meaning instead of buying the 100 shares, you buy 1,000 shares, but you buy them differently. You go buy 100 shares at $10. No, you want to go buy 1,000 shares at $1.
1,000 shares at $1. 1,000 shares at $1. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You want 1,000 shares at $1.
Okay. So help me understand what you're saying. So for me personally, zero income, but I'm trying to do something with my money, right? And what can I do?
Hello?
Well, I guess that's it, ladies and gentlemen. His Wi-Fi went out. And I just got to tell you, in case we don't get reconnected, I just have to tell you that was very helpful to me. That was very helpful to me because he talked about marginalizing the money differently. Like you think about stocks as one thing, but think about it as something else. So that example he gave, I can't quite remember it, but 1,000 shares versus 100 shares, like that was key. That was key. So I think we have to study that. We have to study that, and yeah, I hope to get Wall Street back on the line and talk some more, and because he's got it. I mean, my man went to prison, figured out how to read, and turned that reading into giving out classes to the student body of prisoners, and now he's out of jail and completely doing the things for everyone. So, yeah, that's him. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, the power in his building went out. So yeah, Ashe. That was good. That was good. That was good. So I hope you guys got something. I really hope you do, and I will try to get more of him later. And until then, remember that now is better than perfect. Now is better than perfect. And I'll see you later.